Welcome to a brand new pop-in episode of the Game Zone. This is November the 1st. This is episode number 1. It's 2017. And we're going to start off by talking about game glitches. How can they make a game that really doesn't function properly? And what I want to talk about is WWE 2K18. It's very glitchy. It's not really a bad game, but it just, a lot of the mechanics just aren't there. The gameplay elements are not there. It's something that is, a game developer promises you something. You don't get it. You really don't. You have WWE 2K18 that came out, but then you have Fire Pro Wrestling World, which came out, which is awesome, great game. But 2K18 just didn't live up to the hype, and then there wasn't enough roster spots, and I really wish they would bring back the Hall of Fame Showcase, because that would really bring an element into the game. It just seemed like it wasn't there. I've said this before. I don't know if I said this before, but my opinion is, once THQ was no longer involved making these games, they got bad. They got more to simulation, not really anything decent. The series used to be really good, and then it just nosedived. And I really don't think that it's gotten back to a level where fans actually, we wait for the 2K games. Now we just wait to see how bad they're going to fuck up. But speaking of screwing up games, one thing I want to talk about is 2 games that I've played in the last 6 months that are, they're the same game, and one's better than the other. Now I remember when this happened with Battleborn and Overwatch. Overwatch became the better of the 2, and that's where it really went off the rails. It's Dead by Daylight and the Friday the 13th game. The Friday the 13th game does not play well. It's very glitchy. There's not as many maps as they said there was going to be, but Dead by Daylight is just knocking it out of the park. First DLC, Michael Myers. Second DLC, Leatherface. The new one that's coming out, Freddy Krueger. And the customization in that game is so good, and I really love the aspect of Dead by Daylight. I think it's a great game. I played it a little while back, and it was really good. And then I also played it at PAX West when I went, and I thought it was a great game. Really intuitive game, and I really say anybody that really wants to try a really good game of what Friday the 13th should be should play that game, because I think Friday the 13th has so many glitches, so many issues. I don't think the game flows the right way, and it's not a good game. It reminds me of Mighty Number 9, which promised us the fucking world, and it was a shit storm when it came out. Now, there's something I want to talk about. Microtransactions. Microtransactions/DLCs. It's becoming the core basis of games these days. Whether it's a mobile game which says it's free, but the only way to progress into the game is you have to play, and you have to get good. You have to pay money to get characters, pay money to do this, pay money to do that. And then you have console games, whether it's Shadow of Mordor would be one of them. I mean, not Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, which came out recently. The Justice League game, Injustice. There's a Call of Duty is gonna be one. There's a lot of games that come out and they just, you gotta pay money. If I already dropped $60 on a game, why would I spend more money to play it? Because I remember a time and place where video games were, you paid the money, you have the game, you don't need anything else. Destiny 2, which I really don't think it's better than, say, Destiny 1, but it's still not a very good game. They're already releasing DLCs. A good game, now here's a good example of a game that is microtransaction to the umpteenth degree, and that is Marvel Heroes Omega. Marvel Heroes Omega, in order to get certain characters, you have to pay money. That's it. You have to pay money. You have to pay money to get further. You have to pay money to get characters. It's an incomplete game. There's so much that they could throw into that fucking game that they don't want to, because they want your money. They want more money. And then you have games like Path of Exile, which is free to play on Xbox One, and it's not a money hound. I hate when they put all that crap in there. I really do. And I just have to say that things need to change. Microtransactions do not make a game good. Excessive DLCs, the DLC should come out like 4 or 5 months after the game is released. Because what you're doing is you're giving people time to play the game, beat the game, and then they want to continue their story. So you have more in the game. Because there's plenty of games out there that don't even have DLC. They're just great, fantastic games. And that's kind of how I feel on a lot of stance of that microtransaction and DLCs. Now, I want to talk about something unique. It's how did I get involved in gaming on YouTube? Because gaming on YouTube is huge these days. You have big channels like Cinemassacre, you have the Game Chasers, you have Beat 'em Ups, you have a lot of those. And I'm just starting out. I've been doing this for 2 years, and literally I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't get paid to do this, but where did I start? What is the game channel that got me started on watching YouTube religiously? Now, in the last 2 years, I've really got more into watching YouTube, but it didn't start with AVGN like a lot of these people. It started with Clement, the great Clement, because I randomly, for some reason, looked up Mega Man videos on YouTube, because I really didn't know back then. This had to be like 4 years ago. I really didn't know what YouTube really was, what all you could watch on YouTube. I had no idea, but I watched his videos, and then I would watch them more and more. I'm like, hey, I wonder if there's more gaming videos. So then I found other channels. AVGN I binge watched. Then I did the Game Chasers. Then I did the Happy Console Gamer. I found Beat 'em Ups, Super Gaming Brothers, The Completionist, Corn Shack Gaming. All these different gaming channels I just absorb, and I watch them, and I watch them, and I watch them, because I like to have a good variety of different people to watch. There's even ACG Gaming, which is a really good one. There's this guy Riker who does Diablo stuff. There's Pox Kappa, who's good for Path of Exile. You name it, and there's different avenues. So when I started doing these videos, whether it be my gaming videos, my wrestling videos, or my horror movie stuff, I wanted it to be no scripts, bullet points. I know what bullet points I'm going to hit, and I just let it flow naturally and organically, because I don't want it to be like everybody else. Some people do gameplay footage. I don't. I don't have the most high quality editing stuff. I record off a webcam. I use Windows Live Media Player. I love doing this. So I just wanted to give an insight. But now I want to talk about Nintendo. Because everybody's like going goo goo gaga over the fucking Switch. To me, the Switch still, like the Switch came out 6 months ago. About 6 months it's been out. And I still have yet to see anything that makes me really want to buy it. Like, yes, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild looks fucking amazing. It looks like a great game to play. But then that game also has DLC, so you don't get the full game. You have DLC. And then people are talking about Super Mario Odyssey. To me, Super Mario Odyssey looks fucking stupid. And then you get games like ARMS. You have a Bomberman that's only on the Virtual Store. Binding of Isaac, I can play on anything else. Skyrim, you can play on anything else. I still have yet to see the quintessential game. So, 2 years ago, I released a video, and it was called Nintendo Retrospective. And I talked about how I grew up loving NES and the Super Nintendo. And it was great. And then the N64 came out, and ever since the N64, I have not really been in love with Nintendo. And it remains the same. They're always about gadgets. Like, it's a glorified 3DS. I have a 3DS, I barely play it. I love Nintendo, like the NES and the Super Nintendo. Great games. Even the Game Boy. I'll still go back and play the Game Boy. But it's just the games nowadays that they make just aren't for me. I realize I have become an Xbox guy. Xbox has a lot of games that I love playing. But on the Nintendo, like, I love Legend of Zelda and Metroid are two franchises I love. But there's so many franchises I grew up playing that they don't even make anymore. Castlevania has not been on an NES Nintendo system for a while. Mega Man I grew up loving. Contra's a great series, but it's not even being made anymore. I look at things and I could see things could be a whole lot better. Nintendo could really try and bust out some really good stuff, but they don't. So I really don't. Nintendo, I'm not really in the favor anymore. But on a different note, I would say people periodically, you go on, if you have an Xbox One or even a 360, because you can still do it. But on the Xbox One, you can go in there and you can see there is a lot of games that don't get released physical games, but real in the stores. And you could really go and find some gems. Whether it's there's a beat 'em up style for the Power Rangers that's on there. There's this game Slain, Volgarth the Viking. There's the Mummy Demastered, which I put out a mini review, like a 3-minute review on it. There's so much on there. Like, there's backwards compatibility games now for the original Xbox, for the 360 library. The Xbox One has so much on there. They have games like Path of Exile. I said Marvel Heroes Omega is all about transactions, but you can still play the game on there and it's free to play. You have Warframe on there. There is a lot to offer, and I think the Xbox, they try really hard to keep the people in there for a fan base. Now, I had a PS4 and I got rid of it because I couldn't justify having a PS4 when I wasn't really using it. When I look at the Xbox, I use it a lot. Now, I don't just use it for gaming, I use it for YouTube, Netflix, WWE Network. The Xbox One, I think, is a great system that people just hate on. especially PC gamers. PC gamers have a tendency to say that all their shit's better than console. Well, I don't know about that, but I really think that the Xbox One should get some more props. But I will say one thing: there's been some games that have come out recently. Of course, Super Mario Odyssey came out. I have no interest in that. Assassin's Creed Origins I have no interest in that. But Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, I am all over that. As soon as I can, I'm going to get a copy of that. Now, the reason I really want to get a copy of it is I've been playing Wolfenstein since I was 7 years old, and I played it on PC back in the day. My mom went to the mall, and at the mall they had a shareware, so you could share software, and you can get it's almost like a demo version of the game. Like, you could play the first episode of Wolfenstein, but then there's all these other episodes of Wolfenstein if you wanted to get the full game. And that's how I played Duke Nukem, Commander Keen. I've played a lot of games like that, and I just really, really love Wolfenstein. So as the series went on, whether it was on PC, on Super Nintendo, on PS2, original Xbox, the Xbox 360, and then when Bethesda remade Wolfenstein, I played the shit out of that. I loved it. Just like I love the Doom remake. But the New Colossus looks really good. Looks like it has good game mechanics, good stories, everything. I really want to check that game out. I really want to go through and play this one. It looks really good. A lot of the games I want to play aren't coming out till next year. I'm really not big on the new South Park game that came out. I really don't want to play it. It's just, it looks exactly like the Stick of Truth. It doesn't really look... And also, when games get pushed back, a game is pushed back like 4 or 5 times. I really didn't even think it was going to come out. Not my thing, I guess. But I really stress the fact that gaming is gaming. Everybody has opinions. This is the first episode of the Game Zone, and I really want all of you people to just, whatever gamer you are, whether you like action RPGs, sports games, racing, whatever, always embrace being a gamer. Especially if you're a true blue gamer, just embrace what you want to do. Play what you want to play, and try and find people just like you, because there are tons of gamers out there, and I think everybody should try and find gamers that they really adopt with. So every Wednesday I'm going to come here, and you're going to have the Game Zone every week starting now on, because I'm just going to start pumping out these videos like wildfire. So this is the Game Zone. This is episode 1. This is November 1st, 2017. And I will see you all next week.